Hello everyone, today I'm going to read a book, 1849, The California Gold Rush. Focus question: what was the effect of the gold rush on westward expansion? Keeping a secret. On the morning of January 24, 1848, James Marshall went to inspect a deck. It carried water through the new sawmill his crew was building in California. At the end of the ditch, he spotted something shiny under the water. It was gold. 4 days later, Marshall showed the gold to the owners of the mill. John Sutter had taken land from the Nisnan people and made a deal with the Mexican government, which controlled the area at this time. Sutter had also kidnapped and enslaved many native people to work the land. Sutter tried to get everyone to keep the secret. That gold had been discovered in California. 6 days after Marshall found the gold, Mexico signed a treaty to end the Mexican-American War. The treaty gave California to the United States. Sam Pryne, who ran a store near Sutter's mill, soon let out the secret plan and field a bottle of gold dust and ran through the streets yelling about the great discovery. The city of 850 people, almost entire, after Pryne sold them each the tools they need to find gold: picks, axes, pans, and shovels at very expensive prices. Penny. Unlike gold in most places, California's gold wasn't locked deep under the ground. Erosion has long ago washed the metal down the mountains and into rivers. All places miners need was a shovel and a shallow, flat pan. Prospectors stood in river and shoveled carefully into their pan. They removed large rocks, then carefully swirled the pan. The dirt and gravel spilled over the edges. With the water, the shiny flakes of gold stayed at the bottom of the pan. The 49ers rumors soon reached the eastern state about the gold out west. A California official sent a report about the gold to Washington, D.C., along with a sample. In December 1848, the president told Congress about the discovery. It was true. Gold fever, greed, and contagious excitement brought on the discovery of gold took hold of many people at the same time. At the time, many workers earned less than $1 a day. There was an opportunity of a lifetime. In 1849, around 90,000 people called 49ers joined the gold rush. The 49ers came from across the United States west as from Mexico, Central and South America, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. Around 10% of the 49ers were women. Black people were among the 49ers as well. Some were enslaved and were forced by the enslavers to go to California. Free black people also traveled west in hopes of finding gold. The trip to the gold mines could take months, and it was not cheap. People had to pay for transportation and supplies. Many 49ers left behind jobs and families. They planned to make a fortune quickly and return home. Others were ready for adventure. People from California and region should show up first at the river near Sutter's mill. Locals only had to travel short distance with their back people animals. It took longer for immigrants to arrive by boat from Asia, Australia, and South America, and for settlers to cross the United States by ship. About half of the 49ers decided to travel by ship to avoid crossing the lands of native people. Ships took from 5 to 8 months to sail from the east coast around the tip of South America and back up to California. The cheapest tickets was $75, about $2,300 in today's money. The passengers suffer as a result of shipwreck, seasickness, and disease, as well as from crowds and boredom. Some passengers decided to save time by taking a shortcut to Panama. They could canoe and hike across 16 miles, 97 kilometers of jungle, then catch another ship. These 49ers faced many dangers, including bad weather and wild animals. Many fell ill and died. If they made it across, it might take weeks or months to catch a ship on the other side by wagon. It took about the same amount of time to get to California by wagon. Much of the land that stood between 49ers on the East Coast and California was still the land of native people. Settlers, colonizers moving out west often hunt without permission, stole from native peoples, and attacked them. Most people left from St. Louis, Missouri, the westernmost U.S. city at the time. Wagons followed the California Trail for 2,100 miles, 3,318 kilometers. Across the flat prairie, a wagon could travel about 50 miles, 24 kilometers in a day. If it didn't break down, there wasn't much rain, and the oxen stayed healthy. The 49ers had to get the wagons across rivers, up mountains, down cliffs, and across deserts. They were pounded by rain, wind, and snow. Even worse dangers facing 49ers came from disease, starvation, and accidents. For those who made it to California, life did not get easier. Prospectors left in tents and worked 12 hours a day. Many value. They didn't want to give up. The next band of travel might be worth a fortune. Equal opportunity. As the hill filled with prospectors, wild miners began to treat other groups hunting for good badly. While protesters sometimes forced prospectors from other countries to leave the mine. California taxed miners who came from other countries such as China. Many different groups of native people live in California. They spoke around 18 different languages. As 49ers flew to the area, a task force native peoples of the land. Those thousands were killed outright, and thousands more died of disease. Once California became a state in 1850. The government took land from native people. Soon fear and hatred led to thousands of native people becoming enslaved. Around 300,000 native people lived in California before the gold rush. More than 100,000 were dead 20 years later. Finding gold didn't make life easy. Those who found it often lost it. Robbers were common. Prospectors often gambled. cost much more money than people were used to paying. Some early prospectors were successful. Most of the riches from gold went to large companies that were able to mine for the deeper gold. Good prospector, bad ending. So several of the men involved in the original discovery of gold end up with nothing to show for it. John Sutter lost his golden property when the United States should not recognize land grant for Mexico. Sutter, along with Sam Twining and James Marshall, eventually lost their fortune. And some peoples made a fortune by selling to the miners. Sam Pine became one of the first millionaires in the United States. Levi Strauss made his fortune selling pants strong enough to handle the work. Blue jeans women start businesses cooking, running boarding houses, and washing clothes. Mary Ellen Gleason. Mary Ellen Gleason was a black American businesswoman who became a millionaire during the gold rush. A lot of what Gleason did it a secret. Some people say she worked as a cook and a housekeeper during the gold rush, and that while she worked, she listened to what wealthy people were talking about. Gleason made a lot of money buying and selling buildings and businesses. The Golden State. While settled, the U.S. government and wealthy people came out on top after the gold rush. Native people had a much different experience. The gold rush brought around 300,000 settlers, mostly white, to what were once native land. Today, California has more people than any of the other 49 states. It has a huge economy larger than that of the most countries. Nearly 2 centuries after the gold rush, California still lived up to its nicknames, the Golden State. Connection writing. Write a paragraph explaining what the author wants readers to learn from the Bryce Gone Wild chart on page 14. Social studies and art. Create a poster that shows the tools from placer meaning and how the tools were used to find gold in California. Okay, thank you for
Good
listening.
job.
Thank you for listening.